Today, I'm Aileen Montana from Technological Institute of the Philippines, Manila, taking up Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering. In this video, I'll teach you the basics of Apache Web Server and how to install and configure it in CentOS Red Hat. The first thing that you need is to have a computer or laptop that is connected on a working internet. It should also have an Oracle VirtualBox machine. In this video, I'll show you how to configure and install the CentOS Red Hat. Before we proceed to our tutorial, let's discuss a little bit background of Apache Web Server. According to Netcraft, about 70% of all the web servers are running on Apache. The name is derived from Apache Web Server. Because of all the patches, people wrote for the NCSA HTTPD server. It is pretty widely used. If you're a Linux person, it is an advantage and a good thing that you know the basics of Apache Web Server. So let's start. Before we configure or install the Apache Web Server, we have to verify first whether Apache is installed in our CentOS. Input the command rpm-q httpd. It says there that there is no package httpd installed. The Red Hat derived distributions use httpd as package and process name instead of Apache. That's why we're using httpd instead of Apache. If you already verified it, we can now proceed in the installation of the Apache in our CentOS. Input the command yum install httpd-y. As you can see, it is now downloading. The download is now complete. You can see here that there are some dependencies that will also be downloaded aside from Apache, like APR, APRutil, APRutil LDAP, and HTTPD tools. This HTTPD tools usually has the HTTPD W command that is used in basic authentication. Now, after downloading the Apache, let's see some modules that can also help us in configuring Apache. So let's type yum list grep -imot. Stop clear. Let's type yum list. Yum list grep -imot. So there's So we will download some modules that um, can also help us in basic configuration of Apache. You can do this, but this is necessary. But if you wanted to have um, some tools that will help you to further understand Apache, you can download these modules. So we will download the SSL modules by typing yum install mod SSL. So yes. It's complete, and we will download also the PHP, typing yum install php php-mysql. Yes. Downloading these modules may take a while. So now that it's done, let's do the rpm-qa grep-i httpd. So you can see here that we already have a packages installed. In order for us to take the status of the Apache Web Server, whether or not it is running, we can just do the service httpd status. So it says here that the httpd is stopped. So now let's see on how we can configure a web page. One of the command that I think that can be helpful is httpd dash capital V, and with this command it will show you the server version, the date and time the server was built, and some additional modules. You can see here the modules for the httpd root and the server config file. So let's combine the two commands to show some other modules. So vi /etc/httpd/conf/httpd.conf. So now you can see here the configurations file upon entering the command. Oops. As you can see, this configuration file has 1009 lines. So you can just go through all these files. Most of the time, you just need the basic configurations. You may not need all these configuration parameters if you just want to set up a website or just learn how the Apache works. So you can see here the default configuration file. By virtual host, it means we are hosting a website in this machine. For each website, we will create a configuration inside the virtual host block. So from here, we're going to create a configuration www.example.com. So for reference, I'm going to put # my configurations. then we can start now our configuration block. So let's type virtual host star symbol colon 80. So the star here means to specify the interface on the Apache port 80. So by putting this star symbol, it means that to listen to all the available interfaces. The 80 here is to specify the port number, that our default port number is 80. The next block is actually the way Apache figures which block of virtual host to execute and what file to serve on the multiple web host environment is like by the server name. In our case, our server name will be the www.example.com, and then document root. This is where you have your website files, so you want to point it to the location where you have the application or the web page file stored. So this is going to be /var/www/html/example.com. So the next block will be server admin. It is like the webmaster where you're going to be notified whenever there will be an error. So we can put here webmaster@example.com. Next will be our error log. If you don't specify the error log here, it is going to write on the same default error, which is the logs dummy -host example and so on. So we are going to specify here is logs/example.com-error_log, and then our custom log is logs/example.com-access_log common, and everything else will follow here. And the other parameters that we can do is directory index. By default, it is going to the index.html, but if you wanted it to be on the home.html, you can specify it here. So we're gonna write home.html. So now we're gonna close our virtual host. So be mindful on the spellings of your configuration line, because it's just simple mistake. You can have a hard time figuring out what is the error on your program. So make sure to double check your configuration. So after that, we can see now that we already configured the www.example.com. So when we put this on the address on the browser, it needs to resolve or point that website to this computer's IP address, because it is in the virtual environment. www.example.com doesn't really exist. So what we're going to do is to overwrite it on the host file. So by doing so, let's type vi space /etc/hosts. So but before that, we should know what is the computer's IP address, so we can put it here. So if config, so as you can see that the IP address of our computer is 10.0.2.15. So we're gonna copy that and paste to our host. label it as www.example.com. So what we're gonna do here now is that our IP address will be accessible as www.example.com. Then if we're going to ping www.example.com, it's going to reply back. So now that we're done on the configuration, we're going to check before we apply another changes or before we restart it. So let's type httpd-t. Okay, so it says here that our document root does not exist. So we're going to create a directory, mkdir/var/www/example.com. Then we'll go to that directory by cd/var/www/html/example.com. Then ls. Then let's say that the home.html is the default document. So by putting that in the directory index, we're gonna have vi.home.html. So here we're gonna put h1 or header 1. This is example.com. Then h1. Oops. Let's see. h1. h1. Then and then service httpd start. So for us to browse, if we can on the website, we can have curl.http:/www.example.com. So we now get the HTML code. So next is to install the links like the command line browser. So yum install links. Now that it's complete, I'll type links http:/www.example.com. So this is the text-based web browser command line. This is the testing tool that we'll use. So to exit, press Q, press OK. Then Q, then yes. So now we're gonna tell Apache to look on the server name, service httpd reload. Service httpd reload. So it's not reloading. Then we can have again the links. So now it's properly working. So to exit again, press Q. Then yes. Now that's it for the basics of Apache Web Server. I hope you learned something from this video tutorial. And thank you. Have a nice day.